Got it.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Or-
We are live.
Wait. I need to share my screen, right? So this here we go.
Yo.
All right.
Brother, say something.
Well,
It's
Come
you the host, bro.
oh, is it me? Oh,
Yeah,
bruh.
it's your topic.
Hey,
Just sit.
I jammed a
Yes.
little bit there. You know, the computer is just refreshing
Yeah.
a few things out here. But yeah, everybody, welcome. This is us, another week. The B.R.A. podcast.
What's
I
this
hope you're
number
having a
even?
good week.
6, bro. Episode 6.
Yeah,
Episode
episode
6.
6.
Let's go.
We're flying. We're flying.
We're fine, man.
So today we're gonna be reacting to something, a little bit controversial, but hey, everybody knows about it. At least those people that are smart that know what they know. So they're gonna be reacting. So we're gonna be reacting, watching it and giving our 2 senses. Yeah, I hope you guys can follow through. I'm Frank. We got Angelo in the house, and we got Lucas as well.
What's up?
So shall we get into it, huh?
Yeah, let's get into it. You can share your screen, though.
Who just shared this? You shared
No,
the screen?
you can share it, man. I put everyone can share the screen.
Okay.
You
Let's
can
see.
control the whole thing, brother.
I gotta find the video. Right first. Okay. Let's do this way.
Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na,
August. There we go.
na, na.
Found it. That. What?
You like some jazz music?
Oh, actually, I remember. Have you guys seen the new John Wick?
Oh no, I haven't seen John Wick 4
bro.
yet.
I was watching it last night.
What, at home?
Yeah.
Where'd you rent?
On Apple
How much?
TV. Oh,
Oh, Apple TV. You got a
I
subscription?
forgot to tell you that I actually purchased it on Amazon as well. If you want to watch it, but
yeah.
Because I was looking
Yeah.
to rent. It's like $30. I'm like, bruv,
Mm.
what you on about? I remember VHS. It didn't cost that much to rent a movie.
but if you go to the movies though,
Yeah, but I didn't go to the movies. So
okay. Okay, can you all see the screen?
yeah,
Yes.
can you make it bigger?
Yes.
No, that's pretty much what it is. Speak.
All right then. All right,
Yeah,
let's do it.
1960, the Central Intelligence Agency
Is it sound all right?
Yeah, we can hear it.
station chief in Leopoldville, the name of the capital of the newly independent Democratic Republic of Congo, received a message through a top secret channel from his superiors in Washington. According to a tell-all book, The Congo Cables from Eisenhower to Kennedy, someone from headquarters with a pseudonym, Joe, was to land in the country from Paris with instructions for an urgent undercover mission. No further details were provided.
Why does it look like Marcus Connection though?
Insisted upon in this mission, and the station chief was cautioned not to discuss the message with anyone. A week later, the mysterious John Doe touched down at Gili International Airport. He identified himself as the CIA's top scientist and revealed that he'd come equipped with a kit containing a biological weapon, specifically an exotic poison designed to produce a fatal disease indigenous to this part of Africa. He informed the station chief that the lethal substance was meant for Patrice Lumumba, the anti-colonial hero, Pan-African nationalist, who, if the CIA had their way, was to become the short-lived prime minister of independent Congo. The plan was to find a way to somehow slip the poison into Lumumba's food, or perhaps into his toothpaste. However, the station chief was informed that poison was not the only acceptable method. Any form of hit that would take out Lumumba would do, so long as it could not be traced back to the US government. Pointing out that the assassination by poison was not exactly a common CIA tactic, the station chief asked who had authorized the mission, to which the scientist replied that the license to kill order had come from the highest authority, from Dwight D. Eisenhower, President of the United States.
Of course.
Fast forward to today, it is impossible to touch down at the airport of Lubumbashi in the south of the DRC in 1961, known as Elizabethville, without a shudder of the collection of the haunting images of Patrice Lumumba there, shortly before his brutal assassination.
See, Lucas, or Frank, pause it.
His
See,
eyes
I told you that it was an
So he-
assassination.
So he was publicly executed.
Well, it was a public executed, like they killed him and then they lied to the public via propaganda that it was villagers that killed him. And I think for like 11 years or so, people literally believed that he was killed by villagers. It wasn't until like some people that digged into it and were like, oh no, actually, he was actually assassinated. And the people that actually did it are out there. And some of them still had his teeth and stuff. We're like, what? Yeah, but keep playing it. Keep playing it.
So one thing that we grew up knowing that the African people, the Congolese people, are the ones that killed him. So we killed him ourselves. So we
The
grew
power
up
of
knowing,
propaganda. What?
not knowing that obviously they used the people, like you could have a government that's running a country, and then a certain group of people are not happy with, obviously, maybe jealousy or greed, and then they split, and then that small group, obviously, they are the rotten tomatoes that can easily be influenced by someone to come and do a coup d'etat or come and kill the person that's in a position of power, obviously getting used by the bigger, demons out there that hiding behind the scene. They're the ones that run everything. But yeah, let's continue.
glazed over with pain and dread following savage beatings, torture, and a long flight in custody across the vast country which had so loved him. He was thrown into a jeep and driven off. For the following weeks, Lumumba's whereabouts were a matter of confusion and uncertainty. His own words, written to his wife just 4 months after the country attained independence, are a stark reminder of who he was and why he meant so much to so many people then and still does today.
YouTube.
Excuse the ad. We can skip it. Yeah, we all get fit.
Dead, living, free, or in prison on the orders of the colonialists, is not I who counts. It is our people for whom independence has been transformed into a cage where we are regarded from the outside. History will one day have its say, but it will not be the history that Brussels, Paris, Washington, or even the United Nations will teach, but that which they will teach in the countries emancipated from colonialism and its puppets, a history of glory and dignity. It is believed that Lumumba was a marked man from the moment he made a scathing speech on the day of the country's independence, June 30th, 1960, at a ceremony in the nation's State House, the country's version of the White House. It began in a subtle atmosphere but was abruptly transformed by the thundering speech of Premier Patrice Lumumba, who cited the suffering of African people at the hands of oppressors. Then King B.R.A of Belgium spoke first, saying that the independence was the result of the genius of King Leopold II. This reference to Leopold, who had ruled the Congo as his personal property, where he reaped through people with slavery, beheadings, amputations of hands as punishments for workers, and an estimated 10 million deaths, was outrageous to say the least. In fact, Leopold's cruelty was so bad that even the other Europeans
That's crazy, yeah.
exploiting Africans castigated him for giving them a bad name, which later led to Belgium taking over the colony. The king claimed that for 80 years, Belgium had sent the best of her sons to the Congo, and patronizingly added, "Don't replace the structure that Belgium has handed over to you until you're sure you can do better. It's your job, gentlemen, to show that we were right in trusting you." The king's speech was followed by a bland, uninspiring address by the new Congolese president, Joseph Kasavubu. Then it was Prime Minister Lumumba's turn. He called for the Congo to be the rallying point of all Africa and reminded the members of the new parliament of the ironies, the insults, the blows that we had to submit to morning, noon, and night because we are Negroes. Basically, he clapped back and rebuked the condescending Belgian king right to his face. Although this independence of the Congo is being proclaimed today by agreement with Belgium, no Congolese will ever forget that independence was won in struggle, a persevering and inspired struggle carried on from day to day, filled with tears, fire, and blood. We are deeply proud of our struggle because it was just and noble and indispensable in putting an end to the humiliating bondage forced upon us. That was our lot for the 80 years of colonial rule, and our wounds are too fresh and much too painful to be forgotten. That was Lumumba, tall, thin, intense, his eyes flashing behind his spectacles, a spellbinding orator who dared to speak truth to power. The eloquent address was met with a standing ovation, but it did not go down well with the king, the assembled Belgians or other Western observers who were stunned because an African had never dared to speak like that in front of Europeans. It aroused fears among Europeans that anti-white vengeance would be the main theme of his regime. Having been a Belgian
Can
colony,
you pause it real quick, Frank?
government constantly took this.
See what?
I read somewhere that said that, by the way, today 50% or so of Belgians believe that what the Belgians did in Congo was good for the Congolese people.
What?
Yes, well, 50% believe it wasn't okay. Yes, so there's a lot of them today that believe this was okay today, as we're speaking, as we're talking today.
I was talking to a few Belgian people, right? Like I know a couple Belgian guys around. So I was speaking to them, at least the ones, not the rotten tomato, not the good ones, the semi-bad ones, the ones that think that they had nothing to do with it. So what was I explained to them about what King Leopold, most of them know, or they don't really know well, or they're not well educated. I don't know. And you should have seen the answer that they gave me, right? Because I explained to them that the things that our ancestors experienced, even if I did not experience it, I'm affected by it one way or other. Do you know what answer they told me?
Mm.
You didn't experience the slavery. Get over with it. So these are the white Belgium guys. And I was calm, I was chill, I was cool, I was happy, like you don't trigger the lion, bro. Like it triggered me. I was like, let me bring out some facts out here. So I started bringing out some facts, and some Australians were sitting out there listening to it too. And they like I clapped back at them and started telling them this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Like even the Queen, King Leopold's grandchild, who was the queen, one of the Queen of Belgium, issued an apology to Congo. And you know what the Prime Minister of Belgium said? He said that it is unnecessary to apologize because it wasn't anything that we did. That was the past. We don't have to apologize, and they should just deal with it, and they should just beat it. Like
I saw her apology too. Her apology was a half-assed apology. She was asked to give reparations in an apology. She said, no reparations going to Congo, but she gave a half-assed apology, which people don't need that apology. People don't need it. They don't need it. But yeah,
I think, like you see what happens, like I think for me, what I understand is that an apology is one way when someone actually has, shows a sense of empathy when you apologize. When you apologize, you actually understand what the people previous to the people that you're apologizing, what they went through and how those things might have affected the current people. Australia does it. They apologize, even though you do not apologize every year. Like the apologizing every year, that can be debated, but at least issue one apology that everyone sees, the whole world sees, the whole Congolese sees, that they can go and look for the apologies, or a letter or a video where everyone says, okay, they actually apologize, like it was sincere and stuff like that. So we're good. That is a way to actually start to, show some sort of empathy to amend a relationship that was there. Even if we didn't have a relationship, let's create a relationship, because you guys have pushed yourself into our lives to create that relationship. Let's fix things. Let's start from somewhere. How can we start? And what can we do to start that new life of working together? Because I think Congo and Belgium can work together. I definitely think that. But we cannot work together when you have certain people that don't think that you guys haven't been affected, or they think that, you guys don't need an apology. Even though they've been they store most of the artifacts as well. They have a lot of Congo artifacts, not only in Belgium, but in England as well. They all have it in the museum and stuff. So that can come after, but the first thing that needs to be shown, I think, based on the way I understand humanity, we need to start to show a level of empathy. What these people went through, what the ancestors went through, and what these guys could potentially be going through. And let's start from there and then move on. From reparation, bringing back the artifacts, working together, creating a city where we can all work together, if it means, changing the name to Belgium, Congo, whatever, things will come after. But before that, we kind of have hypocrisy, that we can't apologize or we can't do this, but we can give you back your artifacts, or we can give you back reparation or stuff like that. Because that doesn't mean anything if people don't really care about the people that experienced such a bad experience. I think. That's what I think.
Yeah, send it.
Relationship into consideration. Declassified CIA reports from 1964 examined how the agency conducted a series of fast-paced covert action operations in the country, including a massive PR campaign to denounce Lumumba and to promote pro-Western leaders. The overall program was one of the largest in CIA history, and it comprised activities dealing with regime change, political action, propaganda through denouncing Lumumba as a communist, and staging mobs and protests against him.
They always use that.
Lumumba was seen as a barrier for the West to maintain influence, as well as hold on to important economic interests.
Yeah.
He was toppled as prime minister after a few months in power. At only 35 years old, he was shot by a firing squad along with 2 allies. Their bodies dismembered and doused with acid.
Sheesh.
3 days after his murder in Washington, President John F. Kennedy took the oath of office. At the same time, in CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, everyone welcomed the fact that the new administration will not have to deal with the Lumumba case. Even before the former Belgian Congo became independent, Patrice Lumumba's name had appeared in CIA reports as a radical. Declassified documents testified the American government's desire to get rid of him. The head of the CIA telegrammed the station chief in Leopoldville. If Lumumba continues to hold high office, the inevitable result will be at best chaos and at worst pave the way to the communist takeover of the Congo. His removal must be an urgent and prime objective, and that under existing conditions, this should be a high priority of our covert action. He referred to Lumumba as an African Fidel Castro.
Immerses you in the universe with it.
Well, you've got ad blocker. This guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Actually, do I? I think I do. I need to check. My guy, I've been roasted, man. God damn it, I got roasted like that, bro. Let me see if I actually have an ad blocker.
Oh
Do
man,
I?
come on. We gotta do that now.
Oh, yeah,
We're live.
But I have a question for you guys. Do you guys see the similarities with how they, how powerful people that love their people, how they get portrayed by the Americans? So the Americans are the ones that they call out certain leaders. They start by saying they're communists or dictators. They ruin your image. Like how, and Andrew Tate explains you really well. They ruin your image. They fabricate some sort of, thing that you've done and arrest you and get people around you to hate you, to think that you're actually bad. And then when that happens, when the public hates you, and then either they arrest you or they kill you. Or they won't even make it look like they killed you, but they'll probably look like, oh, he committed suicide or he died, with, like he had cancer or stuff like that, but not knowing that they actually got poisoned. That's what's happening. And I've seen the similarities with a lot of leaders that got killed, including even their own American leaders. You see it, and people don't see it. So that's why when America calls a certain leader a dictator, I just look at them like, bruh, America is not in the place of calling another country or another leader a dictator. Let us, make our judgment for ourselves. I think that's what I think. Instead of doing that for us. But anyway, that's what I think. What do you guys think?
I don't agree with the pattern for sure. It's like a strategy, like a game tactic they use, like a blueprint. They have to remove people that they don't want, people of influence, people of power, or people that may change something they are interested in, or people that may take away their resources away from them. But such is war. They've done it to a lot of people, not only to Lumumba, but to even to like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, even to JFK himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but always Putin, they're playing like the devil with Putin, though. They're using the truth and lies to fight him. Like they use the truth a little bit, and then they're throwing a bit of lies, and then there's a truth, they're throwing a bit of lies in there. Because Putin's out of control too. All of them out of control. All of them. But keep playing. Yeah.
What do you think, Lucas? Do you have anything to say? We continue. You're not into politics.
If my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather killed your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, do I have to
Mhm.
apologize for it?
Are you asking why you have to apologize for it?
Mm.
Wow.
I don't think it's necessarily an apology. It's not even, you don't have to apologize. Like if you have a full, like if you're a sensible person, right? And your parents did some bad, or your great-great-grandparents did some bad to me, and you think about it, you say, oh man, that was bad that my parents did. And then we're friends, and then you walk up to me, you're like, you know what, Frank? So sorry for what my parents did to you, man. You know, that was bad, man. I don't agree with that, man. You know, anything wrong
I
with
can
that?
say that I don't agree, but I don't. Why the heck? Why should I apologize? I didn't do
How do
anything.
you
Here's a question for you, Lucas.
empathize with people? How do you empathize with people
Here's a
when
question for you, Lucas.
when someone is having a bad day?
Why do we celebrate Anzac Day? What do we say lest we forget on Anzac Day for those that died in Vietnam and all those places? Every year since they died, like back in the 90s or the
I still
50s,
don't know
60s.
why we need to celebrate, but okay.
You see or not? Do you have empathy, Lucas?
we need to honor the people that came before us and the efforts they put to get us to where we're here, and the sacrifices they made for us to have the stuff we have, the freedom, the luxury of liberty, the luxury of technology, the luxury of medicine, the luxury of spiritual enlightenment, the luxury of art, the luxury of good food. We need to remember them. And when your people's trajectory of that was disrupted by other people, it kind of messes with your spirit and your equilibrium a little bit. And people say, let's forget. That's us for Australia here. That kind of messes with us, the Anzac Day one.
So basically,
so we remember it a little bit.
all around the world, there's one day that each country celebrates the Independence Day, right? And then they remember those that came before us that set the path forward so we can have all this. And then after that, we forget about everything else and start hating on each other, killing each other, and being selfish. So what's the point?
That is true.
I see your point.
It's human nature.
Do you see where I was going with all this?
That's human
So
nature.
what's the point?
But you are not everyone. You are not the majority. You need to set the example. You need to.
I need to set an example. Yes. However, let's be truthful and honest.
But you can't be.
It's from here on. It's just gonna get worse.
For the people that are not in a good place, well aligned, in their spirituality and with God, we have nothing to be afraid of, really. Do you think?
Don't have nothing to be afraid of, but watch and pray because it's coming.
For people or for you, for yourself, for us?
Everybody, man, the whole world. Watch and pray because it's coming. It's coming back.
Let's go back to Lumumba.
Keep watching.
Let's get back to the book. We'll talk about this later. Huh.
The U.S. State Department, on the other hand, top officials were not convinced that Lumumba was a communist and thought it might be possible to exert a moderating influence on him. When he came to New York for a meeting at the United Nations, they invited him to Washington as Undersecretary of State Douglas Dillon
want to use him
before an investigation committee 15 years later. We hope to see him and see what we could do to come to a better understanding with him. Both for Lumumba and the United States, it was a decisive encounter. The new Secretary of State, Christian Hatter, received him and spent a frustrating half hour trying to persuade him to rely exclusively on the United Nations on any internal matters. Dillon, who was present at the meeting, testified that Lumumba had struck him as an irrational, almost psychotic personality. The impression that was left was very bad. That this was an individual whom it was impossible to deal with. A few weeks later, President Eisenhower presided over a National Security Council meeting. chief topic of discussion was the Congo. The Joint Chiefs were concerned about the possibility of Belgium's bases in the Congo falling into Soviet hands. It was about this time that the possibility of assassinating Lumumba came up. The idea was broached at a Pentagon meeting along with representatives of the Defense Department, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the CIA. As Dillon was to testify, a question regarding the possibility of an assassination attempt against Lumumba was briefly raised, only to be turned off by the CIA. The CIA people present seemed reluctant to discuss the topic, not for any moral reason, but because they either regarded the notion as unfeasible or thought that the group was too large for such a sensitive discussion. Whether or not Lumumba was actually a commie or just playing the Soviets against the West, the prevailing view was that there was little time left to take action to avoid another Cuba. In the days following Congo's independence, the Congolese military began attacking the European population that was still present in the country. Brussels decided to not only intervene militarily and occupy parts of its former colony, but also to support the secession of Katanga, a mineral-rich province where the Union Minière du Haut-Katanga, a Belgian mining company with minority British shares, was based. In response, Lumumba sent a telegram requesting urgent military help from the United Nations, urging them to consider the unsolicited Belgian operation as an act of aggression against the Congo.
That was his mistake.
Too much to help him, for fear he would follow a similar path to that of Fidel Castro. Lumumba took matters into his own hands and went to the Soviet Union for help. These set off panic alarms in London and Washington, feared the Soviets would get a foothold in Africa. Lumumba sent a second desperate message.
I have a question. Did Russia, or maybe I don't know, did Russia colonize any country in Africa?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's
I
find
think
out.
Angola. Yeah, they did.
Really?
Yeah, they did.
Let's find out.
No, Angola was Portugal, but that
Yeah,
Russian
because they speak
influence.
Portuguese, right?
I think with the flag with like the crest and the moon. Yeah, I think Russia did something that pushed the big of some African countries, but some influences.
Isn't it funny that whenever a country can't get support from the US, they go to Russia or China, and then the United States gets all sensitive and scared? Not everybody on their phones during a live.
They never colonized any country in Africa.
No,
You see that? They never.
no. I think they tried and they failed, but I think that there are a lot of influence though with a lot of
They never
countries.
tried. They only, displayed the. So from the highlights of this article here, it says, but what's left out is that they indeed attempt to follow the colonizer handbook.
Yeah,
They attempt to
tried.
follow the colonizer handbook, basically to just follow what the other guys did, but they really did not take any countries out there or colonize any country out there, or they went out to other people's countries, say, okay, we've found this country and it's ours, or stuff like that. That which France has done, England has done, America has done, and all the other countries, Portugal. So
apparently you can tell with like countries' flags, which countries were influenced by which country. Like so some of like the stars like for like the British, some of like the American red stripes, some of like the moon and the crests. And you can literally tell some like the British flag, that one on the table right there, actually that's frozen on the you can see it on the New Zealand flag or the Australian flag, even on the South African flag, you can see that thing. I can't remember what it's called again. Yeah. No, that's interesting though about Russia. That's interesting. I actually thought that was a joke. But yeah, they did try and they didn't get any country.
let's go.
this time to Moscow. The Soviet Union responded by sending planes that flew Lumumba's army into Katanga to prevent the secession. By the way, historians believe that this move in a single swoop opened up a new front in the Cold War. Western officials worried that through Lumumba, the Soviet Union would gain access to vast mineral resources, including uranium.
That's the question I always wonder. Why are they always what do they always attack Russia? It's always all of them. They're always up to Russia, like Russia or even China. So basically, China and Russia, it's those little brothers that always got bullied by the big brothers, the toxic big brothers. And then they're become a lot more powerful and stronger. They're beginning to be their own individual people. And now the big brothers are like, oh, these guys might take us over because of what we did to them. We bully them and stuff like that. So they're a little bit scared of the things that they might do, but which I don't think because Russia has no ways of wanting to go and take over America or England. I don't think so.
Are you familiar with the Scramble for Africa?
You know that Russia is actually quite close to America.
Very close, actually. Nah. Oh yeah. Up north.
Remember, it's a globe, right? It's not a flat Earth.
It's a globe. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Frank, are you familiar with the Scramble for Africa?
Scramble for Africa. What's up with that?
So the Scramble for Africa is how Russia, China, and America and the European countries all scramble to see who's gonna get the best parts of Africa, to get the best minerals, the best wood, the best rubber, and the best labor force.
Basically, they don't care about the people. They just want.
Just listen to that. Just listen to how stupid, how unethical that is.
Whoever outperforms the best gets the most. And right now, whoever's doing the most performing in Africa right now, especially in Congo, is China. China is amassing so much land and so many mines. A lot of them are apparently Chinese operated, Chinese owned. And they're like apparently in favor of returning them with like building them a little bit of infrastructure. It's called the Scramble for Africa. There's not really like a nice guy in any of that. All of them are trying to get something out of it. However, just a few people are better than the others at doing it.
It's based on their own trauma, right? So they cause each other trauma, and then they want to take it out on the people that don't really know what's happening. You're like, hey, what's happening here? Like they're coming out and bringing the fight to a continent that really knows peace. Like, oh, Africa, they're all about peace, bro. We're all about peace. But like there's people out there that want to fight and bring the fight into Africa and trying to divide people. Like even the division of like African countries, that came with colonization. Like the West, like Portugal, Europe, America. That the European countries and America came out. Okay, we're gonna divide here. This is mine. This is yours. Right there. It's like you go to someone's house and you say, okay, this is my room. That's gonna be the other person's room, and that other person's gonna be the other person's room, and so on and so forth. That's messed up, man.
By the way, if you read a few African books again, you will know that the colonization was only made possible because when the colonizers came to Africa, they found Africans already feuding amongst themselves, and they used those feuds against themselves by giving some of the other oppositions weapons, and those guys using those weapons on the other ones. And then time of time, giving the weapons to the other ones and taking it from the other guys. And then whoever has the best land, they'll go and disrupt the land there, using our own anger and hatred towards ourselves to defeat ourselves. That's what they do.
The old trick in the book.
Yes.
Divide and conquer.
So that right?
Divide the people and then you conquer the land.
I don't disagree with that, right? That has always been happening. It's always happened, even before when the Bible was written, right? Like that always happened. But what pisses me off is to see one of even the evil ones make themselves to be good and paint everyone else to be bad. That's what makes me mad. That's what makes me like, why are you covering up everything that you've done and making everyone else look like
so you call them bad? Call
You
him
know?
out.
Exactly. Well, you
Call
try call
him
them out, you die, because that's what they do.
out.
You know, a lot of leaders have called out, what America's doing, what England did, or what China or the leaders of China did. What happens to them?
I don't even get mad anymore, man. I don't expect good out of human beings anymore.
Send it.
Let's go.
Than the Independence Day speech, it may have been this telegram that ultimately became Lumumba's death warrant.
Oh.
Lumumba, painted as a pro-Soviet radical, the Americans and their allies persuaded a young colonel named Joseph Mobutu.
Of course.
There's a snake.
To take control. Colonel Mobutu promptly ousted.
Is he the guy in the picture?
Yeah, bro, that's a guy. That's him there. Yeah, that's him. That's a snake.
The coup resulted in Lumumba being placed under de facto house arrest, protected by UN forces. However, he escaped with his family and made his way to Stanleyville, a stronghold of his support. But his own popularity plagued him. You see, he meant to win over the countryside, so he made stopovers for speeches to help rally people to his cause, which allowed his captors to catch up to him quickly. He was captured and handed over by a new government to a secessionist group whom they knew would kill him. In a letter smuggled out of the cell in which he was kept in the final days before his death, they wrote with desperate clarity. The penal code in effect in the Congo expressly stipulates the prisoner must be taken before the examining magistrate investigating the charges on the day following his arrest at the very latest. Whatever the circumstances, the prisoner is entitled to a lawyer. No warrant for our arrest has been served. We have simply been kept in an army camp for 34 days in punishment cells. Radio silence. Nobody with power listened. No lawyers came. An ally of Lumumba tried to give the letter to the UN Secretary General, Dag Hammarskjöld, who was visiting the DRC at the time. The UN head was
that guy looks evil.
to allow the Ghanaian UN contingent to attempt a rescue mission organized by Ghana's President Kwame Nkrumah. But the Secretary General, under direct pressure from the Americans, did not grant this request.
Of course. Okay.
Langley became more and more impatient, and what came from Washington: let the Congolese take care of the Congolese. In other words, let the army do the dirty work itself. 3 days to the assassination, Katangan authorities announced that Lumumba had escaped. Later, they said he had been killed by Congolese tribesmen. Of course, no one believed this version of events and sparked protests around the world, and questions about circumstances surrounding Lumumba's death abounded in the following decades. A United Nations investigation, while failing to establish the exact circumstances of his death, concluded that he had been murdered by Katangan officials and Belgian mercenaries immediately after his arrival in Elizabethville, present-day Lubumbashi. The bodies were thrown into shallow graves, but it was later ordered that the bodies disappear. At that point, a Belgian officer led a group that searched for the graves, dug up the bodies, hacked them into pieces, and dissolved as much of the body parts as they could in sulfuric acid.
What?
Anything that remained was set on fire. As reports would later reveal, the actual killing was done by fighters from the Congo and with the almost certain behest of the Belgian government, who hated him even more than the Americans and the British. Among the senior politicians in the Congo who made the decision to hand Lumumba over to those who eventually did kill him were two men with close connections to Western intelligence, because so many people and countries wanted Lumumba dead. Part of the history that is never taught in school is that ultimately Lumumba's murder was not, as many people have been made to believe, an internal Congolese affair, kind of panicked overreaction among African factions, fighting it out after the departure of the Belgian colonists. In truth, he was assassinated by a kind of unholy alliance led by the CIA, the Belgian government, the MI6, and well-paid Congolese collaborators. During the height of the Cold War in the 1960s, Congo was, until today, is geopolitically strategic. This is due to its size, which is a quarter the size of the United States and bigger than Western Europe. And it is sitting on a treasure chest. 63% of global cobalt production, the world's largest high-grade copper production, third biggest producer of diamonds in the world, world's biggest coltan producer, one of the world's largest gold producers, and significant deposits of uranium, coal, and iron ore. This is what makes the Congo so attractive. A CIA report from September 1960 described Lumumba as a demagogic speaker who was emotionally convinced that it was his duty to unify Congo through a strong central government. He continued to maintain that his interests were those of the Congolese people and described himself as a nationalist who wanted nothing but the full independence and full control over natural resources in order to use them to better the lives of the Congolese people.
And nothing wrong with that.
The overestimation of Soviet influence in the Congo was not solely a result of intelligence, but stemmed from the wider belief that any nation which was even remotely associated with the Soviet Union or China would fall to communism. The Congo was just another piece of the wall against communism, and the CIA was determined to ensure Western loyalty, even though in terms of the Cold War, Lumumba was determined to stay neutral. Lumumba would not have been surprised that
that little snake. That's it again.
linchpin U.S. strategic ally in Africa for more than 3 decades. Patrice was to be gotten rid of one way or another. If murder ordered by the United States government and carried out by the CIA-hired assassin was acceptable, then murder carried out by Lumumba's Congolese opponents with the help of British and Belgian mercenaries was not going to offend anyone's sensibilities. The case opened the eyes of many to the violence of neocolonialism in Africa, as Lumumba was one of the most prominent voices in Africa's anti-colonial movement. Termed by many as the most important assassination of the 20th century, Lumumba was like Che Guevara in this sense. Or perhaps Sukarno, who was overthrown but not assassinated in Indonesia, or maybe even Malcolm X. He was a fiery, commanding figure with a revolutionary aura about him, cut down before he was able to exercise power long enough for anybody to see how he would have reshaped the Congo and the world if he had not been killed. Let me know in the comments how different the Congo would be today if Lumumba had not been assassinated. If you like the video and you're open to have...
Okay.
So basically,
let's answer that last question. What do you think?
If it hadn't been assassinated, the Congo would be the richest country in the world.
It will be Wakanda, literally, bro.
Yeah, it will be literally.
It will be like Dubai.
Exactly.
Like Dubai.
Not even close to Dubai. Dubai won't even be close to us. Dubai has nothing on Congo. Nothing.
Oil,
because
man. Oil.
The world, yeah, bro, oil. We have
oil.
I
know you have all those things, but brother, oil.
To run oil, what do you need?
What do you mean?
Do you know what you need to run oil?
Run. What do you mean run oil?
To use oil, fuel or oil, whatever you need machinery.
To extract it.
To extract it and to use it. And every machinery that's made.
It's not competition, really. Both countries are wealthy, but if the stuff in Congo are run properly, Congo would be as wealthy as Saudi Arabia, the United Emirates.
We'll be the wealthiest country in the world. We'll be the best country in the world to ever go out there for any diaspora or anyone that wants to go out and just go and start a new life. I'm going to the Congo, start a new life. Maybe
but unfortunately, all the leaders there are now just like trauma sharing and just doing the same dumb thing that their predecessors have done of taking power, getting corrupted, rinse and repeat, getting power, getting corrupted, rinse and repeat.
Bro, it's the same thing as Brazil. We're supposed to be one of the top countries in the world.
Yeah, with Brazil as well, with like the Amazon.
No, doesn't happen because the leadership is the same.
Wood,
it's just somebody comes up, corruption, steal all the money, make the people. Next one comes, we think it's just rinse and repeat, same thing over and over again.
Yeah, so some
Let's look at the
blueprint.
comments. Information is
you gotta make it bigger because can't see. Just
Right,
press
you
the
have
green thing to.
what green thing? This right here.
The one beside the green, yellow, red
To
on
make the
top.
screen bigger, expand the screen, the
Yeah,
green
expand.
button.
Right here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that. All right. This is not really taught in African school how it's supposed to be taught. We are taught Western history most of the time, really, in a way that's more appealing. And this is not really taught in Africa.
That issue should be taken with African teachers and African head teachers that hate African kids. They hate African kids, all those teachers and the headmasters. They hate
Well,
African kids.
I don't think it's
Take it
only
up with
African.
them.
I don't think it's only African teachers, bro. You know, it's all teachers
It's
around the
all-
world. Have you seen the like the teachers out here now, you know, like with the live, you know, like the transgender stuff going on. But anyway. Moving on.
I saw a video of a teacher. She was a biology teacher, and she had a sign on her shirt that said she and they as her pronouns, and the kid walk up to her and say, "Yes, sir." She's like, "Excuse me." I was like, "Yeah, it's she and they, right?" But yeah.
Oh, so in Moscow they have a university named after Lumumba. Like even in Zambia, there's a road named after Lumumba. Like Lumumba is like one of the biggest African figures in Africa, even though, you know, obviously, you know, he went through this this tragedy. But like I said, right, for me, in this world, if you show goodness, if you show true goodness, if you're a good person, you want to be good for you want to be there for the people, and you know you just want to show genuine kindness, you will be hated by certain powerful people. If you want people to grow, if you want people to be better and stuff like that, you will be hated and you will be pushed down. I've seen it with so many kind, good people out there that have been up there, been, you know, they ruined their name. And you see with AKA JC, you know, Jesus, they try to do it with Jesus as well. They're trying to ruin his name. They're trying to say that he did stuff like bad stuff. Dude, and then they imprisoned him and then they killed him.
You should see how they did with Martin Luther King, the letters they sent him. Like, just let's end it on that. Look up the letter that the CIA sent to Martin Luther King.
So later sent to Martin Luther King?
Yeah, by the CIA before he died. And they killed him too, by the way. Let's bring it out that they killed him. Allegedly. Let me say allegedly.
Also with the
allegedly.
JFK.
Yeah,
apparently
the
there's a
JFK
tape out there.
Open too, man. That was literally in the open, bro.
There's a tape. Apparently there's a tape out there that it's from a different angle. I think.
Oh yeah.
And you can actually see that they did it.
Yeah.
This one?
Yes, either that one or the second one. Actually, the FBI. Sorry, CIA. I take it back. Don't come look for me. That's the FBI. Bro, allegedly.
Have you seen the story of how, you know, the FBIs are under, like, they're being cracked down by the House, like some, you know, sensible leaders in America. There's this group of people that actually the senators, they're actually questioning the FBI's work ethic, you know, and it's actually going down right now. And it's on fire. It's everywhere. Like if you go on TikTok, you will see how the leader of the FBI is, you know, is being questioned, and they have nothing to say. Like they're hiding a lot of things about things that happen, about how they spy on the civil people, how they spy on
kids,
on parents, kids, and how they hide information for certain people that they like leaders that do atrocious things, like bad things, they hide information and make those guys look like, yeah, it's okay, it's not a bad thing. But if they don't like you, they'll fabricate things to bring you down. That's happening right now, and it's going on like in the
Like live? Is it live?
Like they have days of like questioning,
Okay.
Like what happened with Johnny Depp, like the court
So it's
hearing.
also
Different
it's an open
hearings.
court. It's an open court, yeah. Wow. Oh, following. All right, let's say this.
There it is.
In the view of your low-grade abnormal personal behavior, I would not dignify your name with either Mr. or Reverend or Doctor, and your last name calls to mind only the type of kings.
You're doing it in favor, bro. This guy's mad. What you talking about? The guy that wrote this is mad.
Wow.
It's like, in view of your low grade.
So you want me to do the voice?
In view with your low grade abnormal paranormal behavior, I will not dignify your name with either Mr. Reverend or Doctor.
Yes, bro.
King.
Dude is bad.
Bro.
Your last name calls to mind only the type of king.
How can you tell someone to look into their heart?
The 4th, the 7th, the 8th.
That when your heart yourself is full of hate right now, you can like you can really see.
Look into your heart, you
see the irony?
Fraud,
and your great
liability
to all of us Negroes.
Who wrote this?
Dude, they told to kill himself at the end, or they told him to kill himself, or they will kill him. And guess what? A couple of days later, he died, bro. He died a couple of days later. They're playing a different game.
Who wrote this letter?
It was the FBI. It's the FBI. Allegedly.
But why did they put you're a fraud, great liability to all of us Negroes?
They always like to make it look like
why us?
Killed each other. Like all the niggas killed each other, man. It's not us. No, we're not part of it, man. It's you guys. You guys are barbaric, man. You guys kill each other. That's what they like to do. That's the tactics. Very perverted tactics.
What?
Man.
No person can overcome facts. Not even a fraud like yourself. What? Lend you're sexually psychotic? What? What do you mean sexually psychotic? What?
Dude, they went in on Martin Luther King, bro. They went in on him. They told him to kill himself, or we're gonna.
I repeat, no person can argue successfully against facts. You are finished. Whoa, you are finished.
They got to him.
You'll find a record for all the time. You're filthy, dirty, evil. Whoa. Males and females giving expression with you to your hideous abnormalities. Some of them pretend to be ministers of the gospel. Satan could not do more. What incredible. Wow. The American public, the church organization that have been helping Protestant, Catholic, and Jews will know you for what you are, an evil abnormal beast. So will others who have backed you. You are done. King, there's only one thing left for you to do. You know what it is. You have just 34 days in which to do. This exact number has been selected for a specific reason. In the definite, practical, significant, you are done. There's but one way out for you. You better take it before your filthy, abnormal self is bad. Whoa. I've never seen this kind of letter before.
Yeah, bro, it's hidden. It's hidden. You have to be a connoisseur to know this. All right. But apparently they even made propaganda for him as they did for Patrice Lumumba as well. They did the same thing for Patrice Lumumba as well with made him look like, oh, he's a communist. He's sided with Russia. Blah blah. But when dude was even doing that, those that made his business just autonomy for Congo. They made him look so bad to everyone, and he couldn't get help from everyone as well because people thought of him that way. And That's why it was easy for him to be betrayed even by his own fellow brethren because of the propaganda that it did on him, even post his death.
And the money.
And the money too, of course. Take that money, Donald Trump has said. Take that money. Take that money.
What a madness, bro. What
It
a
is
madness.
So what do you think? So this is my question. Now that we know what we're up against, around the world, with all these groups of elites that get the way and brainwash people and get people to, to be how they want them to be so that they can continue to control the world and keep people silent. What do you think is the best way to live? The best way, the best thing to do in this particular situation, with yourself first and the people around you, like your loved ones.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do.
I think there's something you can do.
We know about them now because they want us to know about them now.
Nah.
I think one way of making a change is by actually getting a position there and doing the right thing and leaving your energy there so that the next person that's coming after you tries to do what you did and do it better than you did. Because those that go into those jobs are usually highly competitive people. They try to be better than the person that was before them. If the person who was before them was a psychopath, they try to outdo that psychopath. If the person before them was a nice person, they try to outdo the person that was before them in the niceness. And there's just a weird corruption going on in the FBI and the CIA and those places right now. They're doing weird things, but usually and normally they'll do nice things. They'll do good things. All right.
I'm asking, what would you do now that we know that we are being, there's a lot of control to control the world, to silence, and to, like that control to lead us into not being, intelligent, wise, and just creating a peaceful world. What, as an individual, what could you do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could join them or you could stay outspoken.
You would join the FBI.
Join the FBI, do the right thing. Without do something wrong, do the right thing.
Yeah, or the CIA, and you think
do the right thing. Yes, do the right thing as a grown-ass man. Yeah,
I
do the right thing.
I like how optimistic you are. I like how it's good. I like it.
Do the right thing. Join them and do the right thing.
But based on my knowledge of those people, you are nothing compared to like going up there and trying to do the good thing, the right thing. They don't care about you, bruh. All they care about is listening to the person up there who gives the orders, who gives the rules.
Then become that guy that gives the orders and makes the rules.
What?
Then become the guy that makes the orders, gives the rules. All right, it's not for the taking. The chance always not for the taking. Are you ready to make the sacrifices that they make? If you are, hey, go up there. If you're not, no, I'm not gonna make the sacrifices. I love my sleep. I love my sleep. I love my wife, and I love my luxuries.
But what would you do?
I'm asking. The time.
What would you do?
That's something hypothetically. That's what I would do if I was gonna make a change. If there's a concern of mine, like the misinformation or the propaganda, stuff like that they're propagating, one would be stay outspoken, call them out on the lies that they do. People call them out and they get caught and they retract their statements when they get called out. Call them out.
Deleted.
Or if it's something serious, you may get deleted. All right. If you're touching the Jeffrey Epstein stuff or even the Congo stuff, you may get deleted. But if you outspoken in the right way, you talk your talk. Or if that's not enough, like I always say, go challenge them. Especially in America, it's the land of the free. There's heaps of black people in the CIA, there's heaps of black people in the FBI, there's heaps of black people in the Pentagon and like in the Marines.
Well, it's not
about
being black. I think it's not about being
and
black.
Asians and Indians, all of them are there.
You know, because can we agree that even black people there's some evil black people as well?
Of course, like being evil is universal. It's not
Universal.
just it's not just it's not just subjective to one particular race. Everyone is a knobhead as equally as the other person.
Good.
100%. But good watch. Good
Mr.
watch, indeed. Good watch.
What do you think, Mr. Lucas? What would you do you said you can't do nothing? Like we can't do nothing? Is that what you say?
Yeah, man, you can't do nothing about this thing. These people, man, they are there for a reason.
That should have been enough for me.
Hasn't God given people to their own desires and their own sinful will? They're there for a reason.
Yeah. Okay.
The only thing you can do is follow Christ, follow God, seek his face, and make sure those around you, especially your family, are walking the same path. And do what you called for. Spread the gospel, spread peace, mercy, love. Walk in humbleness, humility. That's all you can do. The leaders, they are there for a reason. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and the world will go on. And it's just gonna keep getting worse and worse until he comes back. Once he comes back, then there will be true peace.
Into the era of suffering.
For all those who believe in him. That's all we can do. Just watch the signs, watch what's going on in the world, and keep praying because he's coming back. That's it.
We're ready. All right, gentlemen.
That's good, man. That's really good. That's awesome. Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one there. Because really, if we look at it in a more realistic way and in a more ethical, and if you really want to be genuine with your kindness and spreading love and peace and stuff like that, this world has a lot of like dark forces that are directing how things should be done, even though there's also good forces, like the good force, like the good energy. But I feel like we need to, as individually, first of all, I think for me, is to stay positive and continue to get directed by the positive energy. But seeking God, listening to God, following God, and spread the message of peace, love, and continue to be the best person around everyone that you spend time with. It doesn't matter if you get looked down as a bad person because you're trying to be kind or trying to speak the truth. Because like there's that thing that people say nowadays. Well, that's your truth, bro. I'm like, hey, I think the truth, there can only be a truth, and then there can be other people's truth. But the truth sometimes will piss people off, the actual real truth. And if you know it's actually the truth, you stand by it. And that's what we do. Stand by the truth, spread love, peace, and ensure that the people that are around you feel some type of peace when they're around you, so they can continue to spread as well. So when you contaminate people with peace, they want to do the same thing. When you contaminate people with love, they want to do the same thing to the people around them, and so on and so forth. And leave the big things that are happening out there that's beyond our power, because I don't think it's a physical thing. I think it's a spiritual thing that we're up against. We leave those to the Almighty, to work with them and let him guide us and lead us to actually, maybe say the right thing, so we can, pull those people up and keep them accountable, and also, spread the word of love and peace so that those people can be overshadowed with what we're preaching or what we're saying or what we're showing or what we are getting our people to experience around us. I think that's the only way we can help, bring this world peace, starting from our own individual, starting from our own selves. Because if you try to attack those people and try to bring them down, that's a tough battle to fight, because I think that's not our battle, because if on our own self we can't fight that. Because I think it's spiritual. That's what I think.
But you see, that's the same attitude that's the preaching in Congo for everyone, for them just to chill out and not do anything. Yeah, look at them. What's happening to them over there? I think that's the only part. Yeah, of an issue with religion, bro. That part only. Stand up for your stuff. Fight for your land.
There's a difference.
David did. Surely the Spirit of the Bible that fought for their land. Yeah.
But the way you're looking at things, you look at things very materialistic.
No.
Because
surely there's somebody in the Bible that
you
fought
can
for their land.
no, but
Like
you
David
can
or
go
someone
stand
like
up for
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
And
so if I against Goliath,
no,
didn't he?
you can go and stand up for yourself. However, you got to remember, you're not fighting just another person. You're fighting something beyond the physical realm. These people who are not in tune with God, who do not follow Jesus, who do not have the Holy Spirit, these people, they are being influenced by something that they're not aware of.
Well, repel them. Surely
And
there's
so
somebody
if
in the
you
Bible
keep
that stood up
so
against
you keep fighting and
some
you think
villains, some
it's not
ops.
gonna do anything. All it's gonna bring is even more even more hatred at the end of the day.
Hey,
So you just wash your hands and let God take care of that.
So never in my statement I said you sit down and do nothing. First of all, let me clarify myself. And secondly, not doing something sometimes is so powerful that just by staying quiet, sometimes there's power in quietness, in being still. A lot of people may not understand that, but you need to get to that level of understanding that there's power in being still. Because when we start to take situations in our own hands, to try and do things in our own hands, basically we are giving ourselves power, and we're not giving God power. We're not listening. We're not being guided. Because with these things in this world, you have to be guided by the Spirit, by the Holy Spirit. And sometimes the Holy Spirit will tell you to stay quiet. Sometimes you stay quiet.
What if we all, like most countries, start to push back? There's a civil war. Everyone starts to push back against the government. I think if everyone starts doing such thing, we're gonna become like just gonna push for dictatorship.
Yeah.
Because the more people push against the government and the people in power, the real people in power, the more power, the more control they're gonna want. So they're gonna push
there's
for
already
to
dictatorship
tighten
in
everything.
Congo, though. There's already
Yeah, but you
there.
can see, China, you can see North Korea, you can see Russia.
Even in Australia, we saw that in Australia already as well. With what happened.
The more you push those people, the more tight they
actually lock you
become,
down, and you have no say. And they will actually police the stuff and arrest you if they see you out there. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Sometimes it's better to just stand still for a minute.
And don't get arrested and don't get killed. Just be like, you know what? I got more life on this earth.
As long as you don't give up on your values,
yeah,
let it rip.
That's a wise way, I think. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do anything, or that doesn't mean that you're dumb. No,
true,
by any means. It just means that you're more smarter than people that will go out there guns blazing and lose the battle. That's what.
Because even Brazil, I think, is becoming a dictatorship too, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's looking pretty dim over there.
Do you think it's because of the backlash that the civilians are doing towards the government?
Well, it's part of it, but eventually it's gonna happen because people get impatient and sick of it. But I think it seems to be a plan from a long time ago, because the guy who's in power again, the president, his party has been in power for so long, man, and it's only the last 4 years that they lost that, and then now he's back again after getting out of prison. So it seems to be, it's not coincidence. Things are panning out the way they wanted. So
Okay. Well, look, we're gonna wrap this up here.
yeah.
We've had our 2 senses. I think this was great, to just ponder around and see what we will think about, what happened to this man and what's happening around the world, and how we can, move forward, with
Rest in
what we
peace,
should
lest we
do.
forget.
Sorry?
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Lest
Lest we forget.
we forget. Hey,
Now I'll remember this name, huh? Patrice Lumumba. Lumumba is a cool
Patrice.
name, brother.
I know, right?
It's a cool
Lumumba.
name. Lumumba.
His family is suing the CIA, by the way. And
Really?
also
Really?
suing the Congolese government also, yeah.
How?
Well,
How did they
yeah,
even-
that's how.
Well,
How?
this is not evidence now. There's like proper evidence for it now.
But
Oh, true.
how they suing?
They are pressing charges. They're actually wealthy. The Lumumba's family was not broke. He didn't come from a broke family in Congo.
Mm.
All right. They're fairly wealthy. Yeah,
I'd like to
that's
follow
it.
through that and see. I'd
Yeah,
like to
they're
follow
suing
that and
them.
see.
But how do you sue the CIA
I'm
You can
curious.
stand up to these
outside of the
people. You
uni-
can stand up to these people. You
outside
can
of
stand
the
up to these
US?
people.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Is it like
Yeah,
is
look
there
into it too. It's
is there a
interesting, by the
court?
way.
Is there like a court?
I think if they sue the CIA, I think they might be going through the world court, because that's what
Yeah.
happened.
Ah,
The
okay.
world court. In the world court, everyone can sue anyone. Like you can sue a country. If you think
Through the United Nations, you can call out people.
Okay.
That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
I see. So the Lumumba family got some money.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Let's see what that
All right,
comes out of it.
thanks.
But really,
All right.
I think if they win this case, that's gonna
But
be one.
it's even though they're doing it, it's being kept under wraps because not many
Of
people
course,
know it, right?
they'll
Yeah.
talk about the billionaire in the submarine, though.
Uh,
That's what we're gonna talk about.
okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Any last words? We say bye.
Good night.
Learn your history, people. And look into the people that did the great things for you, for your freedom, for you to be able to chill
True.
there with your free Wi-Fi.
Bye.
Your free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi.
Other than that, have a good week.
Yeah, learn your
Uh,
history. Remember those.
Well, and hey, remember, love and peace all the time. That's the motto. Adios.
God is good all the time. God is good. All right, guys, that has been the B.R.A. podcast. This episode will be a bit different than what I have been doing so far, but
it's good.
It's good. All right. See you guys next time. Love and peace. Bye.
Peace.
Where is it? I need to stop the live.